And joining me now is Nikki Fried, chair of the Florida Democratic Party, and Tom Bonier, CEO of TargetSmart. And I do want to go to you first, Nikki, and give you your flowers because, you know, the Democratic Party has long been assailed for its lack of competence, including by me. I lived in Florida, so I feel the right to diss the Florida Democrats, and I've dissed them a lot. You know that. But this was actually a huge win. This was the 12th largest city in America. It's long been governed by Republicans. What do you think Donna Deegan's sort of special powers were here? Or was it more the issues on the other side?
It was a combination of all of it. And first of all, it was a tremendous win for Florida Democrats last night because it wasn't just Donna's win. We took 6 out of 9 of the seats. So we also elected, so Donna's the first female to ever be mayor of Jacksonville. We also elected the first ever Black female property appraiser and 4 other down ballots on our city council races. So what happened here was a combination of a few things. One, Donna is a fantastic candidate. She never went negative. She stayed positive the whole time, where the Republican opponent went even further right. So you saw even in the results last night that the Republicans did outpace us when it comes to the actual voters. But right. you saw almost 13,000 crossovers between NPAs, no party affiliates, and Republicans. This is a trend that is happening across the country, as you've alluded to, but it's happening here in Florida, that people are starting to reject the radicalization of the Republican Party, and certainly the Republican Party under Ron DeSantis, who has taken our state in such a dangerous direction.
You know, and Tom, this has been, so there's been a theory of the case, I think, by Ron DeSantis in particular, that he has to get to the right of Donald Trump on everything and go really to the extremes and the fringes of the party. I mean, banning AP Black history, getting almost into a fight with Black fraternities and sororities where they nearly got banned, the stop woke stuff, fighting Disney, you know, teachers being fired or being forced to resign because they played a Disney movie. It's gotten real extreme in Florida. Is this part of the backlash? And is it what you've expected? You've been looking at these numbers for over a year.
Yeah, it's unquestionably part of the backlash.
Yeah.
To your point, you know, it's not new that candidates need to tack a little bit to one side or the other for a primary. But right. What we're seeing and what Trump has done in transforming this party entirely,
yeah.
and then really reinforced by the Dobbs decision last year,
yeah.
seeing Ron DeSantis now running as fast as he can towards Trump and really even past him,
yeah.
what we're seeing and what we saw last night is very much the end result. It's seen Democrats and independents fired up and really rejecting that. It's what we saw in key states last year in the midterm election, where extremists were on the ballot,
yep.
and where voters believed they had an opportunity to do something about it.
Yeah.
Democrats won.
And I mean, Nikki, the 6-week abortion ban, I mean, you literally protested it. You were literally arrested protesting the 6-week abortion ban. It seems to me the dumbest political move that a person who wants to run for president could make would be to push forward that ban. Who's giving, you know, DeSantis the idea or the advice that that's where he needed to go? It seems like that is going to just fire up Democratic voters next year.
I don't even think that he's getting actual political advice. This is just who Ron DeSantis is. You know, we all know that on New Year's Eve 2 years ago, he was with the evangelical church. And then the 15-week abortion ban that's right now in the law, it came out like 6 weeks later. This is who Ron is. And when he doesn't have to play to the middle, which is after a 19-point win, a supermajority in our state, he got to just be him. All homophobic, racist as he is, he just got to be himself. And unfortunately, you know, this is the end result, that we have a 6-week abortion ban in our state. We've, you know, put permitless carry on the books. Just today, he had 3 bills that went after our LGBTQ plus community. And it just keeps going over and over and over again. Every single day, he's just being himself. 800,000 migrants are going to leave the state of Florida. You were alluding to it earlier also. I don't know who's going to be doing the picking of the fields during the harvest and who's building all these new homes for everybody who's moving to our state. They're all going to be gone. And he's going to have crippled our economy because he's got such a distaste and distrust for people that don't look like him and pray like him.
I mean, that is the sort of odd thing about it is Ron DeSantis is trying to build his sort of presidential campaign on the fact that he's effective, right? He's like, I'm Trump, but more effective. But if the migrant workers all leave your state and construction projects are going without workers and having to shut down, and the agricultural industry can't find workers, you can't build a big enough white ethno-state to find enough people to replace them. So is the Christian white ethno-state going to somehow supply these workers, or the insurance companies that are leaving? Is that going to be supplied by the Christian church? Like, who? I don't understand the electoral strategy here, and why. I have to be honest, the media has sort of dubbed him as some sort of improvement to Trump. He backed the more extreme, the more far-right sort of culture warrior candidate in Kentucky, for instance. That person lost to a regular order Mitch McConnell, Republican, who also had Trump's endorsement. He's losing the endorsement race to Trump. He's losing the victories race to Trump, who lost a bunch of races. I don't understand it as a strategy.
No. Well, it's more baffling. There was new data that came out this week, an analysis that showed that the white working class, the white non-college, I should say, share of the electorate has steadily declined by about 2-point share in every election over about the past decade. And so what that means is for Republicans, they're appealing to an ever-narrowing chunk of the electorate. And the math didn't add up for them last time. They'll have to do even more this time around. It's a very narrow path and a very bizarre strategy.
This is what Daniel Cameron said last night. He thanked Donald Trump for his support, and he said the Trump culture of winning is alive and well in Kentucky. Like, that doesn't make any sense, because, yes, he won the short-term race here for the primary, but who does he think he's going to add? Black voters ain't voting for Daniel Cameron, the guy who let the Breonna Taylor killers off the hook. They're going to vote for Bashir. So how does he add enough people to be able to defeat an incumbent governor? I don't see the math in there either.
I took that as more of the big lie.
Yeah.
Talking about Trump as the winner, right, who we know didn't win. And again, the path, maybe they rely on the fact that Kentucky is different, right? Yeah. The math there is slightly different. But when you look at the Democratic governor who has good ratings, good favorability ratings, the path still is quite narrow, to your point. And when you're appealing to such a small segment of the electorate, you're intentionally narrowing your path to the point where it becomes almost implausible.
This is what I don't understand. I'm just looking at these notes here. 72%